What's up everyone, Dimitri here. Welcome to my Michael Jordan mid-range breakdown series. In this 4-part series, I'm going to break down for you everything that made MJ's mid-range game so unstoppable. His go-to shots and moves, his counter moves, where he liked to operate from, and all the little things he did that made his mid-range so effective. Each video is going to focus on a different aspect of MJ's mid-range game. Post-up situations, face-up situations, his shots off the dribble, and his shooting off the catch. This video is going to cover MJ's post-up game in the mid-range, and I'll put a link to the rest of them in the description when they're done. Alright, with that said, let's dive in. So the focus of this video is Jordan's post-up game in the mid-range, aka when he has his back to the basket, or when he's backing down his defender. MJ posted up his defender in all 3 levels of the mid-range. The low post, aka the low block area, the high post, aka the elbows and the free throw line area, and in between those two, the mid post. He'd also occasionally post up in the short corner too. Translation: it didn't matter where MJ was in the mid-range, he was gonna post you up. And he did so by brute force. Which leads me to the first key for MJ's post-up game, establishing position. When it came to posting his man up, Jordan had a "I will not be stopped" mindset. Which, I mean, wasn't that his mindset for everything? I am getting to my spot and you're not going to stop me. Watch him battle it out here with Reggie Miller. Defenders fought so hard to deny him his position, because they probably knew it was the only way to stop him, even then. But yeah, once he got that position, it was game over. Here are some of the keys to Jordan posting up. He'd get low with a wide base for balance and strength to hold off the defender. Low, knees bent. Look how wide the feet are. Not only does this help with balance and strength, but the wider you are, the harder it is for your defender to swim around you and try to break up the entry pass too. And then MJ would use his backside, hips, and either one or both arms to hold off his defender. And when he had an arm available, he would create a target for his teammate making the entry pass. Watch him use his body and arms here to fight off the defender. Also note how low he is and his wide stance. Watch him use the arms here to pin his defender behind him. If starting behind the defender, he'd also use his arms to make a swim move around the defender so he could get in front. Or just toss them aside. Once he got the ball, sometimes Jordan would lean back to feel out his defender, to see how much space he had. Was the defender right up on him? At a distance with a hand on his back? Shaded to one side or the other? This info dictated what move MJ would go to. So that's how MJ would establish his post-up position. From here, he'd get into his signature moves. Alright, next I want to show you MJ's go-to shots and moves when posting up in the mid-range. Where else would we start than with MJ's signature move, the turnaround fadeaway. MJ's turnaround was lethal to say the least. He could shoot it from anywhere on the court, and he was effective at turning around in either direction. He could shoot over his right shoulder, or his left. He'd turn around immediately after the catch. After just one dribble. Or after two dribbles. He rarely took any more dribbles than that, maybe a few dribbles to get into the post-up, but once he was in it, it was one or two dribbles and then execute his move. Alright, let me show you some of the keys to Jordan's turnaround fadeaway. On most of these, Jordan had a certain rhythm or pace to his turnarounds. He had that change of speed, that hesitation before accelerating into the shot. After his last dribble before turning around, Jordan would hesitate by letting the ball hang in his hand for a second. Then, he'd speed up his pace by quickly gathering the ball, turning around, and exploding into the shot. Here's a way that I like to visualize pace and change of speed. I'm gonna say 1 when he takes his last dribble, 2 when he plants his foot and gathers the ball, and 3 when he swings his foot around and starts to elevate. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Slow, fast, fast. Hesitate, plant, elevate. I hope that makes sense. It sounded better in my head. This change of speed made this shot so hard to guard, because Jordan would kind of lull you to sleep and then get into the turnaround so fast before you have time to react. Watch the hesitation after the second dribble here. Another key to Jordan's turnaround fade was his footwork. Let's start with the catch. He didn't do this every single time, but I noticed on a lot of these, MJ would do a quick hop as he caught the ball. Watch his feet. By hopping, this meant that Jordan hadn't declared a pivot foot yet, and he could do a quick turnaround in either direction. This one's real subtle, I'll slow it down. Watch him hop. On this one, he mistimes the entry pass and does a double hop. So while I'd say he did this the majority of the time, I did notice a few times where he didn't hop on the catch. The other thing Jordan did a lot was right before turning around, he would split his feet with a wide stance. Look how wide he is. With this wide stance, as he turns around, he's going to be able to cover a lot more ground now. This split step right before he turns around leaves his defender guessing too. They have a hard time anticipating which way he's going to go. Watch how the defender reacts to the split step here. From here, Jordan's going to split his feet. Watch MJ. Now, The defender is going to react to the right foot. He thinks Jordan is going to pivot on his right foot and turn around over his right shoulder. Which, I mean, is a good guess. Look at all this open space. So now, watch the defender jump into this space. And now, Jordan has all the advantage he needs to rise up and knock this down. Here it is all the way through. Again, watch Jordan freeze the defender here. And here. When shooting over his right shoulder, MJ would split his feet, push off his left foot, spin around on his right foot, and take one more step with his left before elevating to shoot. Left, right, left. When shooting over his left shoulder, MJ would split his feet and push off his right foot, spin around on his left foot, and take one more step with his right before elevating to shoot. Right, left, right. Occasionally, instead of that, he'd hop into his turnaround. Jordan also used his feet to help him in other ways. On this one, he used his wide stance to erase his defender as he spun around him. See how he gets his left foot outside of the defender's foot? At this point right here, it's already game over. Or on this one, Jordan uses his footwork to create space. As he's backing his man down, he does this split step again, but with his right foot, he takes a deep step towards the basket. Look how much ground his right foot covers. This makes the defender think he's still backing down. Watch the defender continue backwards towards the basket. So now, MJ already has plenty of room to get this shot off. But with the defender's momentum going towards the basket and MJ fading away, he creates a ton of separation from his defender and has all the room in the world to comfortably shoot this shot. Third key to MJ's fadeaway, the high set point. MJ adjusted his set point even higher for this shot, and for all his mid-range shots really, which means he brought the ball up higher above his head before actually shooting the ball towards the basket. Here's MJ's set point on a regular catch and shoot jumper, and here it is on his turnaround fade. Much higher. This helped him get his shot off over, well, anyone. Alright, last key to MJ's turnaround fadeaway, his hang time. Because he had such ridiculous hang time, MJ could jump into the air from any position, facing any direction, and just hang there until he was square. Now, MJ's square wasn't facing the basket directly. MJ was square when he was facing to the left of the basket, as is the case for most shooters. So no matter which way he was facing when he started to jump, no matter which way his feet were pointing, MJ would just levitate until he was facing left of the basket, so that his shooting shoulder and his elbow were aligned with the basket, and then he would fire. Not only did MJ's hang time give him time to square up, but it also let him outlast his defender in the air, clearing the way for the shot. It also allowed him to do things like this. Or this. Alright, that was Michael Jordan's signature turnaround fadeaway. But it didn't stop there. Then there were his counter moves. Building off of his turnaround fadeaway, MJ had a few counter moves that he would go to as well. His most famous one, and the one he went to most often, was the Dream Shake. The Dream Shake is faking a spin in one direction before turning back the other direction. Given everything I just showed you about MJ's regular turnaround fadeaway, and then you throw in this counter move, how do you stop him? Well, you don't. Sometimes MJ used his whole body to fake the spin. Other times, he would sell it with a shoulder fake. Watch this one, it's really subtle. And other times, MJ used a dribble to sell the fake. He'd dribble towards one direction like he was about to spin that way, before turning back the other way. Another way he'd mix up his Dream Shake is sometimes MJ would go right into it after catching the entry pass, versus doing it after a dribble or two. Also, what? He'd mix up the pacing or the rhythm too. Some Dream Shakes he did faster than others. Watch how fast he gets out of the fake on this one, versus a slower, more methodical pace. And then as for his footwork on the Dream Shake, it was the exact same as his regular turnaround. He'd split his feet wide. Okay, besides the Dream Shake, MJ had a few other counter moves to his regular turnaround fadeaway as well, and some of these built off the Dream Shake. The first one I'm calling the Double Shake. It's two fake spins, fake one way and then the other. And those two fakes happen in really quick succession. So as a defender, now you've seen the Dream Shake or the fake spin, and then he hits you with the double fake spin. Good luck. Another counter to his turnaround, the spin back. Now, MJ would fake the turnaround jumper with a pump fake, and then spin back the other direction and shoot. This is a difficult move. You've got to really whip around on that pivot foot without dragging it, and then shoot out of a very unconventional stance. Look at his feet here as he's jumping to shoot. He's got one foot in front of the other and they're facing towards the right side of the baseline. From here, he jumps, turns, hangs in midair until he's square, and then releases. MJ had another counter move that used the pump fake, the step through. Fake the turnaround, up fake. Now, instead of spinning back, he'd step through the defender to open space, rise up, and fire. He did this step-through move after Dream Shaking. and after the double shake too. He'd step through into a layup, or a leaner, or a fadeaway. Sometimes he used a real obvious pump fake. Other times it was a more subtle up fake. And then a lot of the time, Jordan didn't even need the pump fake. He'd still use the same footwork, and defenders would try to anticipate his turnaround, and he'd just step through right by them without the pump fake. Or he'd shorten this move a little by going straight from the fake turnaround into the step through. Watch how there's one less step with this one. With an unstoppable turnaround fadeaway to begin with, and then you add in the dream shake and all these other counter moves, I mean... Alright, and then lastly, when he wasn't turning around or countering the turnaround in some way, MJ would attack the basket out of his post-up. And he had a few different moves and shots he liked to get to here. MJ would often spin out of his post-up and attack the basket. The key here on MJ's drive is how low he gets. Look how low he is compared to the defender. Look at his head level versus the defenders. As a defender, you're not going to be able to stay in front of someone if they're this much lower than you. Same thing here. At this point right here, it's already a losing battle for the defender. And then, of course, MJ had a counter to spinning out of the post-up. He'd fake a spin and then drive, aka the Smitty, the move created by Steve Smith. When driving, besides getting all the way to the basket, MJ would counter that with a pull-up jumper. And also a step back. Alright, last thing. Instead of spinning out of his post-up to attack the basket, sometimes MJ would just step through again towards the basket, this time without any turnaround fake. MJ was really good at squeezing through tight windows. Watch how he splits through the defenders to get to an open pocket of space where he could rise up and fire. How he established position, his turnaround fadeaway, the dream shake, double shake, spin back, step through, and how he attacked the basket. These were the keys to MJ's post-up game in the mid-range, and all the shots and moves he used to dominate. Having one unstoppable shot is one thing, but then having all these counter moves too is really what made MJ so impossible to guard here in mid-range post-up situations. Alright, that's going to do it for part 1 of my MJ mid-range game breakdown series. Stay tuned for part 2, MJ's face-up game, which I'll post a link to when it's done. Hey, hope you liked this one and learned a thing or two along the way. If you'd like to support me and my channel, you can do so by hitting the join button below this video or on my channel page. Alright, that's it for this one. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.